Hi guys, I am back with another video on how to configure local yum repository on your CentOS. Well, before we dive into the configuration, let's talk about the reason for hosting local yum rep. As a system administrator, patching is a part of our daily life, and Linux introduces a very stable way of patching via yum. It keeps our Linux packages up to date. Now let's talk about what is yum, Yellow Dog Update Package Manager. In short, we can say yum is a free open source utility for computer running Linux operating systems using the RPM package. Yum allows for automatic updates and packages and package dependency management on RPM based distributions. Yum works with software repositories which can be accessed locally or over the network. If you have like hundred of servers in your environment and patching each server from internet is not an option, it requires a lot of bandwidth. So we host a local yum repo so we can update one server from the internet and rest of the servers can update from this local repository. It's much like WSOS, Windows Server Update Services, but way much better and cooler. Guys, basically you can configure the yum repository via two methods. One is through hosting NGINX or Apache server, or you can have an FTP server configured in your environment. Today I'm going to discuss about how to host it via web server. So I will prefer Apache, but anyone who is interested in installing NGINX, they can use NGINX as well. So guys, let's head to our virtual machine and let's start configuring. This is my virtual machine and I'm connected to it. You can see the IPs and everything here. So first thing first, as we talked about, we need to install an Apache server, Apache web server. So the command is simple: yum install httpd. So this server is actually connected with the internet, so it will directly go to the internet, look for the repositories, fetch it here and install. Okay, so the latest version of the repositories has already been installed. So now let's head towards what we are going to achieve today. So we need to create a local yum repository. So there's a package for that also that is very helpful, that we are going to install: yum install repo. So yum repo has been already installed. To manage this package thingy, we need to install yum install yum-utils. Now since we have already installed the web server, now we are going to create since we have already installed the web server, now we will create certain directories for this repository from where we can fetch all this information. So the command is simple: we will make directories in var www html and repos. Create some directories here. Make directory and make this directories like base, CentOS plus, extras and update. Apart from these repos, you have some other repos as well that you can actually fetch here. So you can actually configure those repos also, like EPL repositories, certain others. So we will hit enter. Actually my command did fail because I was creating directory in repos and I did not have the directory in repos. So what I did, I just made a directory called repo. I go to that location and created a directory repo, and after that I run the same command again and it has created the directories. So we have already done creating the directories. Now all we have to do is sync all these directories with proper repositories from CentOS packages, for CentOS packages. So this is really simple, and what you are going to do is you can make a script out of these commands, and once in a month or once in a twice a month or once in a month or whatever the way you do patching, you can actually update your local yum repositories with that. So if I tell you like repo sync and there are certain flags in here, I will briefly discuss about these flags. Repo ID is base. So if you can see here, we have created a base directory. We have created a CentOS plus directory. We have created extras. We have created updates. So basically, in when you run this command, so what it is going to do is it's going to fetch this base packages from the CentOS repositories and download them here in our server. So there are certain flags in here, like you can see. -G lets you remove or uninstall packages on the CentOS that fails a GPG check. -L is yum plugin support. -D lets you delete local packages that no longer exist in the repository. -M lets you download the comps.xml files. Comps.xml files useful for bundling group of packages by a function. Here repo ID is specify the repository ID. Newest only means download the newest packages. Download metadata is download non-default metadata. Download path specifies the location to save the package. So this is how the repositories will be downloaded. So we can run this command, and as you can see, it's going to connect to the internet and start fetching all these repositories locally. So this process is going to take a very long time. As you can see, there are 100,000 packages, like 10,000 packages, not 100,000 packages. So it's going to take a lot of time. I'm going to cancel it. I have already done this in another server for you. So I will just show you. I will briefly put all the commands in the description, how to update all these packages. So remember, we have installed the createrepo utility. So from that utility, we are going to create the repository. So this is very simple. Create repo in the following location, and it will create the repo. As you can see, it has updated the database and generating SQLite database. So it's like making all the links of your repositories, so any machine or any local machine over your network tries to query any package, then it can provide the information. This is why we installed the createrepo package in this very beginning. The last thing is, this is not to be done here on the server, but it has to be done on the client machines actually. So to make all this very easier for you, let's go to the host file, hosts. So as you can see, it has like nothing in the host file, like 127 is your own IP, it's self IP, and this loopback IP and loopback IP in IPv6. So you can actually name your VM and you can update your host file. Basically, you can say like my IP is like 192.168.8.100. Let's say 100, and my machine name is VM04. This is how we say it, like ping VM04. So it's kind of, it can resolve the name. So you can have like DNS configured. So from the local machines, when you try to fetch the repositories, it will actually search for this RPM server and try to install the repositories. So now on the same, by having on the same server, I will explain to you how you can configure your clients to fetch updates from your local yum repo. So it's simple like previously. So if you go to PC directory, there is all the configuration files. So yum.repos.d here. So this is all the repositories that CentOS looks when you are installing any package. So the thing is, we don't want to use these repositories. What we are going to do, we're going to make direct backup and move all star.repo to backup folder. If we see all the files have been moved to the backup folder. So now we can create a file in here and configure it for our local repository. How we are going to do that is by creating a file in here. VI. This is my personal favorite editor. You can use Nano as per your convenience. So we have created this file in here. So now we are going to paste the contents of the file. Content of the files are going to be like this. So this is the contents of the file. This here it's going to be the IP address of your machine where you are hosting the yum local repository. Okay, sorry, I made some mistake here. Suppose remote. Okay, so I am currently not sure what is a IP a.1. Basically what you can do, this is a client side configuration. It is nothing to do with the server where you have yum configured, local yum repos configured. So be careful on that. So let's say I will run in and insert that. So now this is the yum will look into this file, this configuration file, and it will always try to fetch the information from this repository that is on the Apache server configured for your local yum. So this is all you have to do actually, nothing else. Now you can do the configuration test by being on your client machine and install any package like httpd or anything, and you will see it will not go to the internet, it will look at the local yum repo. So as you can see, the repo has been set and we can run local yum repo. We can sync the local yum repo. We can create actually cron jobs to sync repositories daily, weekly, or whichever way you like the best. So the commands are the same. You can keep the commands in a script and make it available in the cron job. So it will run as per your convenience. So that's all, folks. It's really easy. Give it a try, and it's the best method to patch your Linux servers. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please do subscribe.